Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Defense Josh. My name is Shubham Singh, and I have recently appeared for UPPCS interview 2018. I am 2018 CAPF merit out, and I have cleared CDS 8 times and FCAT 2 times. So I am here to discuss about the strategy and book list of CAPF 2020, which is to be held on 20th of December 2020. And before initiating about the strategy, let me talk in brief about CAPF. CAPF is a one-day exam conducted by UPSC in two shifts. That is, shift 1 for general ability and intelligence. It is a MCQ type paper consisting of 125 questions of 250 marks, whereas paper 2 is essay, comprehension and general studies, which is a subjective paper to be written in 3 hours, and it is of 200 marks. So coming back to the book list, the most important book is first of all, one has to solve previous year question papers. It has mainly two advantages. First, it will give you an analysis of about what UPSC is asking and up to which extent you have to study those topics. And the second benefit is that generally UPSC repeats 3, 4 or even sometimes 5, 6 questions. So you will get an edge over these questions and you can easily solve them. Even I benefited from such questions, and those questions were pretty easy to solve when I had solved them in my examination hall. So coming back to book list, uh, uh, almost history, geography and polity and science and maths consist of 20 to 25 questions each. So the book list of for polity is that if you have a bit of command over polity, then you can directly go to Lakshmikant. But if your concepts are a bit weak, then one has to study 11th, 12th NCRT and then has to move on to Lakshmikant. And if your concepts are very weak, then you have to go through NCRT of class 9 to 12 and then go to Lakshmikant. Book list for history is that one has to cover NCRTs from 9 to 12th, and if basics are weak, then again from 6 to 12th. But if basics are somewhat okay, then one can go through 9 to 12th. And recently NCRT has released some books named Themes of Indian History. Those are 3 books consisting of 15 chapters from right from ancient history to modern India. And in reference book, one can go either through Bipan Chandra or through Spectrum. In Spectrum, one doesn't have to work hard as everything is given concisely, like in indices after the book. For geography, again, 6 to 12th NCRT is very important. And apart from content, on the side of the page, NCRT book has given some did you know, find facts and something like that. Those are also very important because many times UPSC directly asks definition from those did you know and from those facts. So one has to go through all the books right from 6th class to 12th class religiously. And apart from that, GC Leong is also a good book which one has to cover, because in 2018 paper many questions were asked from GC Leong directly, including word by word from GC Leong. And mapping of India as well as world, both are very important because you never know what UPSC will ask. In 2019 paper, UP has asked 2 questions on mapping from Indian geography. And in 2018 paper, UPSC has asked around 10 to 12 or even 15 questions directly from those 3 books of themes of Indian history. So NCRTs are very important because UPSC picks up line by line from those books. For science, one can go through NCRTs from 8 to 10th. And apart from that, if as I was preparing for civil services, so and UPPCS as well, so I had Ghatna Chakra. The benefit of Ghatna Chakra is that Ghatna Chakra consists of 8 books and has around 25,000 solved papers. So in science section it has solved papers, so that helped me to quickly check to solve the questions and get benefited from those questions, as that helped because some questions are repeated in such state PCS and UPSC as well in science section. So if one doesn't have an Ghatna Chakra, so that's not a big deal. NCRTs will suffice. In maths, I had solved RS Agrawal. If someone has studied maths in 11th, 12th and graduation, then that's not a big deal. If one is weak in maths, then he has to solve RS Agrawal. Environment, apart from geography NCRTs, one can study a few chapters from Shankar IS, and for economics, NCRTs from 10th to 12th. And of late, like in 2019 exam, UPSC asked even numericals from micro. So in 12th standard, one has to read both micro and macro. Until now, one can skip micro, as more or less questions were mainly from money and banking, but now UPSC is asking questions even from demand and supply and thinkers of economics. So coming to paper 2 is of 200 marks and mainly consists of 6 sections. First section is essay. UPSC gives 6 options. Out of those 6 options, you have to write 4 essays, either in Hindi or English, and each essay is of 20 marks, and one has to write essay in 300 words. So after writing essay, the another section is argument. In argument, one has to write both for and against the topic. Argument is of the UPSC asks 2 arguments and each is of 20 marks. So you have to write 2 arguments describing for and against the topic. Next topic is report. Report is basically how you are reporting. You act as a correspondent and you report about the incident. Like in 2019 paper, UPSC asked about violence in Indian universities. So one has to become a correspondent and write a report in that way. Fourth section is Pressy. It is of 15 marks and UPSC generally gives a passage of 300 to 400 words and one has to write it in 1/3 of that length without changing the meaning of the passage. Fifth section is again a passage. UPSC gives 5 questions, generally of 4 marks each, and one has to write answers in his or her own words. And the last section is of grammar. It is of 25 marks divided into 3 subsections. If you have good command over English, then these sections are pretty easy for you, and if one doesn't have good command over these sections, then one might find them tricky and not scoring much. So it all depends on command, and since there are 4 months left, for around 3 months left for CEPF 2020, so one can easily consolidate his command over grammar. And if someone has any doubt, then we will take up their doubts in next video. Thank you.